On March 12th, 2026, OVW would have a TV taping for their TV show, OVW Rise. It was during this taping that they had a 12-man Four Corners of Chaos match. Only God knows what that is. Where it contained three wrestlers, and I'm naming these three wrestlers because they're the only three that matter to this story. Brendan Balling, Drew Hernandez, and Tony Evans. During this match, a spot was planned where Dallas Edwards, the referee, would take a forearm to the face, a flying forearm from Brendan Balling, leading to a standard ref bump. Unfortunately, this spot did not go to plan whatsoever, as when Edwards went to take the forearm, Balling's wrist fully connected with his face, causing him to land awkwardly on the back of his skull. Immediately, Dallas Edwards lays there knocked out, and Balling ducks down to check on him before getting up and continuing his spot with Tony Evans, right by the head of Dallas Edwards. After that, Dallas Edwards immediately begins seizing. His body's shaking, his arms and legs are going stiff, suffering the fencing reaction, and nobody stops the match. Instead, Drew Hernandez gets into the ring and hits a scoop slam onto Brendan Balling, right next to Dallas Edwards' head. Again, it's very obvious that he's seizing here, and they're not even checking on him. Nobody's even looking at him. The female commentator that OVW has says, "We need to check on Dallas Edwards," while the male one says, "Dallas Edwards is not having a good night here tonight," as if it's just a part of the show, showing that there is no care at all for any of this. Now, I will state right here, we're going to get more into this in the aftermath section, but they straight up thought that he was selling. Why they thought that, I could not tell you. Why they thought somebody would fake a reaction as serious as a seizure, I don't know. But that is what leads to this situation continuing for like 3 minutes. But let's keep going on. After the scoop slam, Hernandez then picks up Balling, setting up for a spinning back fist to be done by Tony Evans. While Evans grabs Dallas Edwards, the man seizing, by his belt, rolling him over. There's even a point where Dallas Edwards' head and shoes are the only part of him touching the mat. And then he pushes him with his foot. He like kicks him in the side to make him move. And then you got the commentator as well, the male commentator, stating Evans moving the carcass of Dallas Edwards. You can't tell me. You cannot tell me you thought he was selling at this point. And again, we're gonna fast forward a little bit. We're gonna talk about somebody's statement. Tony Evans, the guy who lifted him, decided he wanted to say, Dels and I have worked together frequently, and he usually will always go dead weight as I tried to move him. When I touched him was the first time I laid eyes on him specifically to this point for a brief second. And I saw OVW officials running from the back, but assumed it was for the chaos that just happened outside of the ring. I go to move him and scooted him with my foot as I usually would, not realizing the severity of what was going on in that moment, as I was under the impression everything was going to plan. Like, bro, no, you didn't. Dude, you moved, you tell me, you're telling me that you lifted a man who is shaking currently. Like, he is there, stiff as a board, shaking. Okay? This man is shaking with all his might. You can obviously tell that he is seizing, and you're gonna hit me with the, "Oh, that's normally how he sells." No, it's not. No, it's not. Nobody sells a seizure. Nobody in wrestling ever sells a seizure, and if they do, they should be banned from wrestling forever. Like, straight up, bro. Obviously not selling. But let's get back to it. If we've we've only gotten 50 seconds into a 3-minute video, and we've already gotten numerous like unsafe work conditions that show that they did not care at all to do any sort of like proper checking on if he was okay. And they're just acting like he's selling. They keep using that excuse. Oh, we thought he was selling. We thought he was selling. If you thought a man seizing in the ring was selling, you all need to be banned and blacklisted from wrestling. Like, straight up. They just keep continuing their spots. Like those spots I mentioned, that's one after the other without even looking at Dallas Edwards. And it's like all they care about is getting to these spots and then moving him to get to the spots. Like, bro, who cares about wrestling at this point? It does not matter as much as somebody's life. This man is laying there suffering a medical emergency, could possibly die, and you care about a spinning back fist, a scoop slam. Oh man, I gotta hit my scoop slam. I gotta lift up Brendan Balling and get my friend to do a spinning back fist on him. It's this is not a serious part of this, but dumb names, dumb people, and dumb wrestling. That's what this is. And the commentator that made that carcass comment should be fired and blacklisted as well. Just you had to have known that was a medical emergency. You can't. If none of you can realize that a man is seizing in front of you, you all need to be like jailed for the safety of everybody else in the wrestling business. You need to be jailed. Is disgusting on all parts here. But let's continue though. Tony Evans hits his little back fist and bowling moves, causing Evans' fist to hit Hernandez. After that spot, somebody finally decides to come out to check on Dallas Edwards. And during that, while they're trying to check, Tony Evans appears to be going to try to set up another spot before finally going to the rope and just sitting there watching them, try to assist Dallas Edwards. The male commentator pipes up again, this time to say, referee Dallas Edwards is in some trouble here, guys. Like he hasn't been in trouble the entire time, and you guys ignored it because you thought he was selling. Evans moves into the corner just to sit there, holding his tummy, with a like stank face on his face. Thing as you can hear the crowd like yelling things, shock. There's gas, there's fear. It's kind of silent. There's a dude walking around calling the ambulance after somebody yelled, "Call an ambulance!" As another guy, thing Drew Hernandez, I believe it was, just rolls over again, trying to sell. He rolls over like a log, taking his shirt off the entire time for some reason to try to help out Dallas Edwards. And I'm like, dude, at this point, why are y'all trying to sell? Wrestling is not important in this scenario. If this is a guy that you claim as a friend, you should stop trying to sell. Drop the act immediately and get over there and help in some way. While they're selling and trying to help, though commentator says that they don't want to show the scene on camera as Dallas Edwards is having a medical emergency. Finally, somebody grew a brain and decided, let's not show the man having a medical emergency and let's stop the match. The broadcast continues in silence as a wrestler in the background moves to talk to a fan. I assume trying to console them or trying to make them not as scared. And that's where the video ends. Straight up. This is the this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in pro wrestling because a man is obviously having a medical emergency. The man has Dallas Edwards has been a big figure in the indie scene talking about epilepsy and stuff like that. So obviously you knew that there was a chance that he could have a seizure. There was, you know, you knew that there are a risk of seizures, when brain injuries happen, and yet you didn't have a medical team. You didn't have anybody there watching and trying to spot the signs. You had a bunch of people because there's like straight up like 10 people come out there and there was 12 people in the ring already. That's like 22 people, not counting Al Snow or the two commentators. Let's count all them. That's like 25 people. Let's even go a little bit further. 30 people, let's say, in your company watching at that moment. And you are telling me that none of them, not one of them, recognize the signs of a seizure to assist? You either have the dumbest, and I mean the dumbest team possible, the dumbest medical staff, the dumbest producers, the dumbest booker, the dumbest commentators, wrestlers. Like, dude, everybody there must be the dumbest individual known to man for you to see a man seizing and not recognize it. Y'all, I can't even say I'm disappointed because, like, dude, I'm not these people's father. It's not my job to be disappointed. Let me get to their justification because it's annoying me that this even exists. Their justification for this is the aftermath section. Their justification for this was that they did not know. that traditionally when an in-ring injury occurs, the referee is the central point of communication, assessment, and decision making. In this unprecedented situation, the person who would normally make that assessment was the one who needed assistance. That unforeseen breakdown in communication contributed to a delay in stopping the match and concluding the show. AKA, well, we didn't know because it's the referee's job to make sure that we know when injuries happen. So it's not our fault. It's actually his fault for having a seizure, due to a traumatic brain injury suffered. And he didn't let us know he was injured because he was seizing on the floor. Why? Why do we do this? Why are dumb people allowed to talk? Why are they allowed to have rights? Like straight up, man. So what you're telling me is he got injured, but it's actually his fault that we didn't give him medical care sooner because he's the one who's supposed to not get injured. So since he got injured, it's his fault. Thank you. Thank you, Al Snow. I think the mannequin head is smarter than him. Straight up, they said, they also add, the health and safety of our performers and officials have always been our top priority. We are proud of the standards we've maintained over the years, but we also recognize that there's always room to strengthen and improve. With that in mind, we are reviewing our existing procedures and updating several of our in-ring and ringside protocols to ensure we continue to meet the highest expectation for performance safety. These updates include enhanced communication systems, additional referee training, and expanded ringside response measures to ensure that a situation like this is identified and addressed as quickly as possible. Pause. What did that say? Additional referee training. I want to know how that's going to go when this guy comes back to that company, if he comes back to that company. I want to hear how Al Snow's going to walk up to him like this. Hey, how you feeling after the whole seizure? You feeling good? You feeling ready? Okay, well, come here. We're gonna sit you down in this chair. You're gonna do some online videos. We're gonna train you again. You need additional training. Well, why do I need additional training? Well, you need additional training because you suffered a seizure, and we want to make sure that, we can identify when you suffer a seizure. What does that even mean? You're giving this man additional referee training. You're gonna give additional referee training to know the signs of when a referee has a medical emergency. Al, that is not the person that needs the training. The referee that suffered the medical emergency is not the guy that needs training. It is you. You and the rest of your roster need training on how to spot the signs of a seizure and how to fix this issue because there was 12 people out there. I miscounted earlier when I said 12 people because there was 12 wrestlers in the match, but there was two others according to Tony Evans who were set to make a attack, I guess. They were supposed to interfere in the match. So there's 14 wrestlers out there, plus the ref, plus the 10 or so people that came out when they finally did come out, plus the two commentators, plus Al Snow, plus the other wrestlers on the card. So let's assume maybe 40 to 50 people were there that could have stopped the match at any moment, that could have made sure that Dallas Edwards was okay, and none of them did. None of them came out, none of them did their job properly recognizing the signs of a seizure and stopping the match and making sure that they get medical attention as soon as possible. Instead, they basically delayed because they thought he was selling, as I said earlier. It is like the biggest case of negligence, and they want to retrain the refs. Like, dude, how did the referee come out being the bad guy in this situation when he's the one that has the seizure? He's the one that had the seizure, and you're treating him like he's the issue here, and not the rest of your talent that can't figure out what a seizure looks like and what selling looks like. If you can't tell the difference from selling and a seizure, then you need to get out of wrestling as quick as possible. You should not be in this industry because you are not safe and you are a danger to everybody around you. Let's finish up this video though by talking about Dallas Edwards' statement himself. In his statement, he says that he is fine, that he suffered a brain bleed, but that he is okay and on the path to recovery, hoping that he would get out of the hospital the day after, which he didn't because, that's way too optimistic. You're not going to get out of hospital that early for a brain bleed, because that is such a serious like injury that there was no way he was going to make it out of the hospital the day after, but at least he's alive and he's talking and he seems to be within good health, which is a good thing. He says that he appreciates the support everyone's been offering, but that he does not need money. He's grateful to be in a position that he can manage during an accident like this. And then he says, in lieu of donations, I instead implore all of my fellow workers to get some sort of training in assisting another's life. Being in the position before, it is very important to be educated in all scenarios related to injury, illness, or condition in the ring, especially when we're performing. Which I fully agree with. I fully agree that a lot of these wrestlers should get some form of training or something. But I think that honestly, for the people involved in this whole OVW thing, they're a lost cause. There is no amount of training that will take away that mindset of have to keep wrestling, during medical emergency, got to make it look like it's a part of the show. That's just dangerous for everybody involved. And honestly, it seems like none of them are actually sorry about anything because if you look at like Brendan Balling and Tony Evans, they kind of just chalk it up to, oh, it was a mistake. And Al Snow's response on the OVW page basically just said, like, oh, it was just, we didn't know he was injured for real. He's supposed to communicate the injuries to us, and we didn't know. So basically, oh, it's all a mistake. He's not going to do anything. We're okay. That's basically what it is. That's basically what their statements are knowing that, well, he's not going to do anything about it. So it's perfectly fine to just chalk it up as a mistake and even punish him for the mistake, quote unquote mistake, which is the dumbest like conclusion to this that we could have gotten. But yeah, just to like sum up the statements and stuff, Dallas Edwards is all right. He's perfectly fine, as much as fine as you can be with a brain injury, with a brain bleed. He's not planning on taking any legal action against OVW, which I would say honestly, if I was in his situation, I'd take the legal action because it seems like they're just going to chalk it up as a mistake and not really learn from it or change anything, which is very dangerous and just puts everybody at risk again. But that's unfortunately the conclusion of this is Dallas Edwards is not going to sue. Everybody's going to view it as, oh, it was just a mistake that we made, and they'll go back to life as normal, continuing to be unsafe. That is the unfortunate conclusion of this. But that's just it. I just want to talk about this real quick and inform the people who don't know what happened, just basically telling y'all what happened. So hopefully, y'all have a good rest of your day. Peace.